to be aggressive.
Time to drive now.
Un campeón se crea a partir de su entorno. Hay que extraer los elementos para el éxito. Para luego fusionarlos con presión y fuego. Solo así se forjará un campeón. Esto es el Cox Prix.
Hello and welcome to Extreme E, where we're in Antofagasta, Chile for the Cox Prix, the final weekend of Season 3. My name is Andrew Coley, joining me on commentary is Jess Rogers, and we are delighted to welcome back Jenny Gao.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, it's nice to be back. Season 3 has been our biggest yet, with double the racing and twice the drama. The battle for the top spot has been closer than ever, and as we race in the driest place on Earth, half of our teams still have a shot at the title, with the top two almost neck and neck.
Since day one, Extreme E has been on a mission to race for the planet, with every championship event showcasing the best electric off-road action in motorsport, while highlighting the big environmental issues and the clever innovations put in place to solve those problems.
Also ingrained in Extreme E's DNA is gender equality, with a stellar lineup of male and female drivers sharing the fight for championship points.
Those drivers will be feeling the pressure this weekend for the season finale, and the question on everyone's lips is, who will take their chance at glory?
We started this year in Saudi Arabia. Sand and rocks were the terrain. It was a brilliant start to the season for Veloce Racing and Acciona Science as they won rounds 1 and 2.
Next up was Scotland. Mud and rocks was the terrain, and the winner of race 1 was X44 Vida Carbon Racing, and Veloce took race 2.
Next up, the location was Sardinia in Italy, where Rosberg X Racing won both race 1 and 2. It was wildfires the theme for the weekend.
We remained in Sardinia for the next double header. Dry earth and ruts, of course, a little bit more rutted with extra racing on it. Acciona Science taking race 1 and X44 Vida Carbon Racing race 2.
This weekend, we are in South America, down in Chile. The terrain is rock and gravel, and well, it's going to be an absolutely stellar end to the season.
So here it is then, our playground for the weekend, our playground for the finale. Who's going to take the title? 5 teams still in the mix for this one. This track was brilliant last year. We had so much overtaking. Clara Anderson, remember, really stamped her authority on her debut here, making a pass on Sarah Price. We got crests and jumps. We were lucky enough to see some of free practice yesterday. The jumps are bigger than they've ever been at this venue before. It's going to be a big challenge for all of the teams. Now, as we say, there's 5 of them left in the title fight. So let's take a look and see who is up for the big trophy in Season 3.
The championship fight is on, with 5 teams still in contention going into the Cox Prix. The season kicked off in Neom, and the brand new course on the shores of the Red Sea was quick to catch out Andretti.
Roll in the background, that's the Andretti machine's gone over again!
RXR dominated the final, but a last-minute penalty for speeding in the slow zone saw them drop to 3rd, as Veloce took top honours in Saudi Arabia. Round 2 and Andretti's woes continued.
No, not again! A 3rd roll for Andretti!
as Acciona Signs claimed a first ever race win, tying them at the top with Veloce on 46 points. Rounds 3 and 4 took the teams to Scotland with an abandoned coal mine and future hydroelectric power plant, the backdrop for one of the most dramatic events so far.
Contact and a roll! Absolutely huge crash! Oh, and RXR off the side of the road! Johan Kristoffersson!
Things were looking up for Andretti when they crossed the line in first. But a penalty for a switch zone infringement saw them drop to second, allowing X44 to take the win and move up to third. It was a drama-filled qualifying at round 4.
Oh, Kilmore into the barrier on the inside line. Scheider goes in really hard, and that's Anderson!
Veloce maintained their composure once again to take a second win of the season and reclaim the top spot. Round 5 saw the series return to Sardinia, with the stunning Italian island hosting one of the most remarkable comebacks in Extreme E history.
The RXR's going fully off-road, straight through the bushes on the outside of the track.
After an early crash, RXR climbed back up the field, crossing the line in second, but a penalty for GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing meant they were promoted to the race win. The following day, RXR continued their domination in Italy.
Kristoffersson comes from the back of the pack to the lead.
To close to within 4 points of championship leaders Acciona Signs. As teams returned to Sardinia for round 7, the top 3 title contenders all made it through to the final, but with RXR suffering tech issues and Veloce blinded after their windscreen wipers failed,
Taylor can't see, someone needs to tell her to stop.
Acciona Signs sailed away to win the Island X Prix and extend their lead at the top. At round 8, it was Acciona Signs' turn for tech problems as they failed to make it through to the final along with Veloce Racing. This allowed RXR to secure second place behind X44. All that sees our top 3 separated by just 21 points, with 5 teams in with a chance of the title. It's all still to play for at the Copper X Prix.
I've got to give a shout out to Molly Taylor. Going across country, not being able to see anything at all is one of the most epic moments of the season. That was brave. Jenny Gow, so good to have you back, mate. Acciona Science look leading RXR by 3 points. 5 teams in the running. I know you've been keeping up from home. Good to be back.
It's so good to be back, and it's nice to see that the championship is still up for grabs, and 5 teams. You guys have done a really good job while I've been away.
Thank you, mate. I think it's more down to the drivers than it is to us, but yeah, good to see.
Them too.
Yeah, so top 5, as you can see, still up for it. Unfortunately, 6 and down are out of the running, but of course they're still going to be wanting to see if they can pick up a win. All to play for. Going to be a fantastic weekend of racing.
It's really nice to be back here as well, coming into the final. So all good. And let's remind you of how some people's journeys have been. This is X44.
Fraser McConnell did a brilliant job to bring that car to her in the lead, and she brings it home for the 2nd win of the year for X44 Vida Carbon Racing.
Our feelings is the best possible because we start the weekend as not the best. Everyone has given everything to put the car in the best condition for the second race.
It's amazing. Even back to round 5 and 6, we left here with a bad taste in our mouth. I was looking forward to coming back, and then even after yesterday I was like, man, this place must be cursed or something because we're not getting the results we want or deserve. Left yesterday very disappointed with a DNF in the redemption final. I hated the redemption final race. I don't want to go in another one. But the X44 Vida Carbon Racing team gave us such a strong package to go out there. So we really wanted to leave here on a good note, and we couldn't have done a better one. At Cupra, I had Seb start in the final and he chose slot 3, which was a little confusing to me. It made me feel like he knew something that we didn't. It's like pointing into the bush. I chose number 2 because Christina had a fantastic start from that same position in the previous race. I knew I had to trust my reaction time, and I hit that magic hyperdrive button. When I went into the corner, I looked right and I looked left and I didn't see anybody, so went and tucked behind the same bush that Christina did in the previous race.
He gave me the car and it was the longest lap in my mind. I just go with careful, no drop flags, nothing, and try to finish and celebrate.
I've been giving absolutely everything, sacrificing a lot before races to make sure that I'm in the right mindset, right physical shape to get the job done.
Yes! Let's go! Yes!
When I got the call to replace Sebastian Loeb, 9-time consecutive World Rally Champion, I was like, these guys can't be serious, this must be a prank call. But after that they explained that opportunities, it doesn't have to come at the cost of performance. That was a real eye-opener for me to say, these guys are really serious about giving people opportunity and putting people that might not necessarily have the chance to get in an Extreme E seat.
This helmet is made by the kids from the hospital in my city. They make me a lot of good energy and I hope they are happy to win, and there are some of them watching from the start, so this is for them.
Motorsport is the definition of our emotional roller coaster. We have to enjoy these moments when they come. They don't come very often, and when they do, we have to celebrate it because you've worked so hard for it.
Well, these are the people that are going to be out there going for it today and tomorrow. A double header. It's good, isn't it?
Oh, look at RXR and Acciona Science walking along side by side when you know the
Best
needle's
of buddies.
there. Yeah, gritted teeth. It won't be in turn one, will they? I can't wait. Really excited for it. So yeah, 5 teams in the title fight, 10 teams out there. The other 5 are going to be going for those trophies anyway. But we've got 2 favourites that are a little way out front. So we're going to have a catch up with RXR and Acciona Science.
Well, this is it, the championship finale, the championship deciding weekend right here in Chile. And you can very much feel the tension down here in the paddock, in the pit lane at this most remote and picturesque, stunning setting that we are in for our final weekend of the year. Alongside me, Michaela Arling-Kotlinski. Now, RXR, of course, winners in Season 1, runners-up in Season 2. 3 points behind Acciona Science as it stands. You won't want to be runners-up again this year. What is the mindset, Michaela, coming in?
No, for sure, of course, we want to take back the championship, but I mean, it's a lot of points up for grabs with the doubleheader like we've been having this year. So for us, we just prepare like we always do, and each point is so important. But once again, also, we'll just do the very best that we can do. We also know in Extreme E, everything can happen, so we focus on what we can do and what we can, what we can do and what we can improve and what we can affect.
Every point really does matter. It's the little things, the Continental Traction Challenge, winning those qualifying races as well. Out there in Shakedown, you were looking mighty quick. How much do you like this course? How much does it suit both of you as a driving partnership?
Oh, thank you. No, we had a good feeling with the cars. We felt pretty comfortable. We were quicker last year, so I mean, it's always positive to come back to a track where you've been quick and you already have the reference and so on. A bit more power this year, so it's a bit different. But in the end, we started off good, felt good, so we just keep on working from there.
Thank you very much, Michaela. Best of luck this weekend. I am so excited to see how this will pan out. Just 3 points in it, 3 points in this championship fight. We've got the 2 rivals here talking to each other. Johan, sorry to interrupt. I've spoken to Michaela. I now need to speak to Matthias. Many thanks. Good luck this weekend. Matthias, your first time here in Chile. Welcome. What do you make of this course? What are your impressions?
I think it was very nice and very cool layout. Very wide. I think it's the widest racetrack I've ever raced on in my entire career. For sure there is some elevation, which is also pretty big, so that makes the track even more exciting. And just done 2 laps now and look forward for the next session.
3 points, that is the gap. You've closed out championships before. You are a champion, Matthias Ekström. What does it take to close this out? What does it take to clinch this title in your first year of Extreme E as well?
I think it's down to a lot of details in your driving and in the operational side to avoid any mistake and just have a clean weekend. I think the cars here will be very even in terms of pace, so it will come down to a lot of small details. And Johan and Michaela have also had a very good year, and we had our fair share of good or bad luck, I think. So, yeah, it would be nice if everybody could have a clean weekend and a fair fight. So I look forward to it, and always nice to be in a place where the sun is shining and everybody happy and full of excitement to go out and have a good weekend.
Absolutely, yeah. Clean, hard, fair racing. That's what we're looking forward to this weekend. Thank you, Matthias. Best of luck to you. Championship finale weekend. I can't wait.
A new team this year has been Cox Motorsport, and what a season they've been having. Absolute musical genius and a massive motorsport fan. Let's see how he's been finding it.
Yeah, so coming into the season for the first time, I mean, I had no expectations on how our team was going to actually do, but I knew that we would be able to gel as a team, and if we had the opportunity, that we possibly could get on the podium in some ways. But I wasn't expecting it at Scotland because the conditions were really, really harsh, and especially when they doused the track even more so with water. Even though there was a lot of water on the track before, it really played havoc with everyone, and we had to be smart by how we basically rolled out Christina and how we rolled out Timo, and that strategy of that helped us get onto the first step. So I wasn't expecting to be down there, and when we actually got to mention the fact that I saw the car come through over the finish line, I didn't believe it. I was just standing there going, I thought we came fourth, because sometimes some other teams get points deducted for whatever they're doing, and at the end it gets added up at the end, and then you find yourself in fourth place or the third. But it never happened. It was Cox Motorsport. We got there. So I was very proud. Very happy and very proud to know that we do have a stand in here. It's not just my name; it's the thing that's bringing these things, to the forefront. It's actual teamwork, and my love and support for the team is absolutely clear. By me being here today, it wasn't an easy thing to get to Chile, based on that we are in the middle of nowhere. But here we are. We're here because we love it. In the end of the day, and that's clear, I think.
In each of the locations it races, Extreme E engages with the local community through its legacy programs to understand their battles with climate change and help tackle specific issues. Here in Chile, Extreme E are teaming up with NGO Force for Nature, who are training up and providing resources for rangers to protect vital ecosystems. With water and wildlife scarce in the Atacama Desert, the drivers visited a salted lagoon, which is home to different breeds of flamingos.
We've come to visit one of the lagoons, which is a really popular area for a lot of different breeds of flamingo. I think out of the 6 species, they have 3 of the flamingo species here. So we've been spotting different species, but it's all about learning about the conservation of the area, and a lot of the rangers are doing amazing work here. They're indigenous people, they know the land, and they're kind of raising awareness of how they've seen the environment change.
At Force for Nature, we have a huge network of rangers. They are the specialists at harmonizing between human needs and nature. They are park guides, they're anti-poachers, they are scientists, researchers, basically anybody who's working in conservation with their boots on the ground for more than 40% of the time.
In many cases, rangers are the ones that hold the knowledge that scientists lack sometimes, because we don't have the observations that they have. So the interaction between rangers and scientists can really propel conservation.
Los flamencos, ¿por qué son importantes para el ecosistema?
El flamenco es un indicador de cómo se está comportando los espejos lacustres respecto a la extracción, evaporación y el cambio climático que está sucediendo a nivel mundial. Por lo tanto, ¿qué podemos hacer respecto de la especie? Se nos está moviendo de los hábitats naturales.
I've been blown away by how much they do. Flamingos fly 350 kilometers from their nest, feed every day and then back. So we think our commute to work is bad, but yeah, it's really incredible to be in this landscape and to spend time with the rangers.
We're so pleased to be working with Extreme E. We've donated some equipment, which is very hard for the locals to get their hands on.
This is like a conservation lover's toy.
I get that.
Very specialty item. It has incredible optics. You can see really far away.
I was really excited to go here today because I've never seen a flamingo in real life like this. Part of this conservation program is to count how many flamingos there are, to keep count of them, and it is really changing throughout the years. That's why this equipment is so important. So we were looking in them, and actually I found a very special flamingo because they have a ring on their legs.
Ese equipo nos va a apoyar mucho a poder identificar el código que ellos llevan en su pata respecto a dónde y cuándo se anilló, la especie que se anilló, y eso va a significar cómo se va distribuyendo a los distintos salares en Chile, Perú y Bolivia.
Along with that, we're going to be providing some satellite images and artificial intelligence to do more accurate counts.
Supporting the people that are behind it that know the land is 3 times more effective in conserving environment than just making scientific measures itself. To speak to the local people and hear the difference that it makes it feel special.
Well, this is the track map that awaits for all our drivers today. And just a reminder, it's hard.
Yeah,
I would say.
It's my favourite here is the elevation change and these first few corners. So look, you've got a right, a left, a right, a double left off the crest here, and then you've got that first straight which leads into the start of the Continental Traction Challenge. That gives us So many overtaking opportunities because we all know it's about the exit speed onto that straight. Who's going to save the hyperdrive for later on in the lap? Remember this dip off the back of the traction challenge? That's where everybody was downing the flag last year. They ended up getting penalties for it. Big crest jump out of there. I love this track.
Yeah, crest jump.
Yeah.
It really dazzles.
It does.
And you can really over-rotate on the finish line as well. So people have got a lot of things to watch out for and be careful of. And doing the switch zone as well. We saw things go wrong last year as well.
Oh, we've seen it going wrong all year. Yeah, they're still doing a very good job of it's still fun. Yeah, they're doing a very good job of making a mess of that. So, yeah, all the elevation change. Say the extra points. Remember for the Continental Traction Challenge could be absolutely crucial. 2 points for that. There's a point each for winning your heat race. There's a lot to play for here.
And as you say, 5 teams still up for the title championship fight, which I think it gives everyone a sense of excitement coming into these last 2 days of the championship. So what is this all about? Let's take a reminder. I've been away, hopefully you haven't, but this is how it all works.
Extreme E is a fully electric off-road racing championship consisting of 10 world-class teams made up of 1 male and 1 female driver. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV, with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an Innova hyperdrive boost in every session, and there are bonus points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course. First up, it's qualifying, where everybody races twice in a bid to finish as high as possible in the qualifying standings. Then it's time to earn some championship points. From qualifying, the bottom 5 teams go into the redemption race, while the top 5 proceed to the grand final and compete to win the Prix and lift the trophy. It's a season-long battle, 10 rounds, 1 champion.
Here we go then, Q1 Heat 1 coming up, our first race of this championship deciding weekend. I'm joined by Andreas Baccarat of JBXE, racing this weekend with Tamara Molinaro. How is the dream team gelling together?
No, it's turning out to be pretty well, and like you say, it's a championship deciding weekend. I'm in the middle of the mix between Johan Kristoffersen on my right and Mattias Ekström on my left. So 2 drivers I know extremely well from the past. The track here, the layout, the people that has worked here have done a great job. The track is mint, and I think we're going to have a great kind of season finale.
All of the men are starting first as well for this round 9. What's the mindset going off the start? What are you thinking?
Well, we have two race scenarios where we are thinking, because every season whoever finished last have to stay dead last in the paddock. We don't want to end there, so we have a race with McLaren and Carl Cox. We want to beat them, but as well we want to win a race or be on a podium. I think JBXE deserves it. They have been working very hard in the background, but we haven't really managed to take the last step. So hopefully this weekend we can maybe add up some new stuff and get on that podium.
Oh, we'll see. I love that, a race within a race. Thanks very much, Andreas. Best of luck to you. We're going to head next door. Molly Taylor is standing here, ready and waiting, poised on a championship deciding weekend. You guys are in the fight, but you've got to stay within that max score for today.
Yeah, it's all to play for us, which is exciting. But yeah, for us, it's kind of nice in a way because our position is clear. We just got to go flat out. So that's only one thing we got to focus on this weekend. So we'll give it our best shot.
So that's the tactic. I mean, it always is an extreme, isn't it? Flat out. If in doubt, go flat out. But you are in the mix with both sides and Rosberg X Racing as well. So how much is it risk versus reward in approaching this one?
Yeah, I think if you want the rewards, you got to take the risk. So, that's the same for everyone here this weekend. So I think it's going to be an exciting weekend of action.
2 wins for Veloce so far this season. What would it mean, not just to pick up another win this weekend, but to be in the shout of a title fight coming into tomorrow, indeed to be on the podium for this championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive thing. Like, obviously, personally as a driver, but I think for this team, it's put in so much work and for, everyone to come together this year and to sort of come out of the gates like we did in Saudi was really special. And, just the attitude and the amount of effort everyone's put in. It's a special group to be a part of, and there's always a really positive, energetic vibe here. But, everyone, it's not just us out there that are putting in everything we have. Like, everybody here is doing the same thing. So, it's nice to reward all of them with a podium as well. So yeah, we'll be going for the win as always. But yeah, it's nice to know that everyone's got your back here.
Yeah, you're very much in the mix as well. I'm excited to see how this will play out. Molly, thank you so much. Best of luck to you and to Kevin Hansen as well. Well, here we go then. Our first race of the morning, Q1, Heat 1. Let's go.
Well, Laura said it. Let's go indeed. This is our first proper look at the track. Carl Cox said it, didn't he? We are in the middle of nowhere. Jess, you were actually here last year. What was it you said? Well, remote, long bus journey.
Eerie. It does really feel like you are on Mars when you're here. It's like nowhere else I've ever been. It's quite desolate. It's dry. It's moody. It's what you want from a great racetrack. It's what you want from a finale location, actually.
It certainly is. Jenny, obviously, we did this one last year for round 4. We said earlier, great racing. Look at these elevation changes. I'm excited.
And usually elevation changes don't come across well on TV, but look at your screen. That gives you a real idea of what these drivers are going to be thinking, feeling, what the cars, the Odyssey 21s, are going to have to negotiate as well.
So McLaren is rolling up to the line. This weekend, of course, we've got Tanner Faust will be taken to the wheel as the male driver, but he's got Hedda Hozos in as his female partner. So Emma Gilmore, wishing you all the best. We know Emma's on site with the McLaren squad, and she's still recovering from concussion after that huge crash. Don't forget as well, they had 2 huge crashes actually in Sardinia and missed the second day completely after Molinaro had a roll as well. So well, Kevin Hansen on the line.
Yep, and Veloce, they've got a nice new livery. They're sporting a very like chrome model. I'm a fan.
Yeah, the Vexed community voted for that from various different choices. This is what they need to do though to stay in touch, each of the teams. You can see here, so RXR, they trail by 3. They need to score to stay in the top 2. The points that are available, 29 from each day. So we'll update that tomorrow for you. There is a very, very slim chance that these guys can win the title today, but they would need a perfect day, and they need RXR, who are their closest rivals, to have an absolute shocker. So I think it's unlikely, but we did see both those squads have tricky days earlier on this year. We're going to head down to the command centre now and have a catch up with one of our drivers. Here we go. Laia Sands then in the command centre. It's championship weekend. The pressure I know is on, but I can kind of see a smile on your face. You ready for this?
Yes, already. We can wait to start. Of course, we have a hard grid position. We start in the worst place, but anyway, we will fight. We really need to be in this final, and it's still long. Still 2 days of racing.
So Carlos Sainz, your team boss, is there behind you. We're now looking at pictures of Matthias sitting in the car. How's the atmosphere in the team?
No, the atmosphere all year has been amazing. I think we are a great team. Now we are already a family. It's already the 3rd season, and with Matthias also we have a lot of good moments. So hope to finish on the good way.
Are you feeling any pressure at the moment? You look cool as a cucumber.
No, of course we feel the pressure because the championship is on fire. We still can win. We still can finish 3rd, 4th. So yeah, the pressure is there for sure.
And Lyra, I know it's not the best starting position for you guys on the outside, but it's a long day. I think this first qualifying session, it's more important to have a safe run necessarily than it is to have an absolute blinder. I mean, what are the tactics when you're on the outside?
Yeah, the problem is that this start can compromise all your day, because if you start in the outside and you don't have a grid result, then you have a bad start again on the grid. So we will try to do our best because it will be important. Otherwise, it will be super tough to get to the final.
Just looking at that grid, how do you think it's going to play out when you go down to the first turn? Tell us, talk us through it.
We will see. I hope Matthias can do some magic. We saw it before, so let's hope he can have a more or less good start, and then we'll see. This track is not too bad because it's wide, and I think we can overtake in case it's needed. So we'll see. It will be for sure a tough fight.
All right, well, we're looking forward to seeing you get out there and overtake. Any hints for us on Inoa Hyperdrive? Is there more than one place to use it, or are we going to have to use it off the start, you think?
We will see. Yeah, there are, I think, in the track 2-3 places that you can use it, but usually all the teams are using it in the start because, as we always see, the start is so important. If you start in front, you have many chances to win the heat. So let's see.
Laia, thank you so much. Wishing you and the rest of the team the best of luck on Championship weekend. All right, go get it.
Thank you.
Interesting. So, talking about Inoa Hyperdrive, we know it's a fairly long run to turn 1. Traditionally this year, we've seen the first driver use the Hyperdrive straight away. Laia saying there's potentially several places around the course that you could use it if you're the second driver. So that could be overtaking, it could be to try and steal those 2 championship points. Every single point matters.
I like it when you get this different idea of what's right. There's no right in this. They're making it up as they're going. You heard earlier them saying it's the widest track they've ever raced on, and that's Matthias Ekstrom. He's done everything.
Yeah.
So when you say it's the widest track he's ever raced on, you know this could lead to all fun and games out there.
Yeah, it will make it high speed as well, because if the track's wide, then you're carrying a lot of speed through the corners. So it should give more places to overtake, but if the speed is very high, then that can take away some of that as well. So it remains to be seen. Jess, excited?
I'm very excited, and to remind those of you at home who are maybe not used to how Extreme E works, basically we've got all men in the car to start this time, and they're going to be doing 2 laps, aren't they? Then they go into the switch zone, and they hand over to their female counterparts, who will then do another 2 laps and come through the finish. Hopefully we get all 5 cars. I mean, hopefully, I say that. I mean, I know some people, you guys, like a bit of drama, like a few crashes. I want all 5 cars over the end.
It's Championship weekend. I want to see clean runs. I want to see this settled on track. That's what I want to see. And Jenny, of course, this means that with the males will start in this one, the females will start in the next, but also it will mean that the males will be starting the final. So potentially some tactics there from the teams.
I always like it when someone mixes it up
Yes.
and just throws someone into it, but they haven't done that.
I think it's the first time this year. Look, thinking back to all the different grids, I think it's the first time this year that somebody hasn't split the tactics up. So, but that's the pressure in Championship weekend, isn't it? And we know, we've said this several times, a lot of the female drivers haven't had so much experience of a door-to-door start. Yeah, these guys here have gone up against each other so many times in the World Rallycross Championship, you know, various different American Rallycross Series, Night Rallycross, Tanner Faust, of course. I think he's won in just about every Rallycross Series, but against these drivers. So expect this to be aggressive on the run to turn 1.
Right, 3-minute board has just been shown to all our drivers. The course looks pretty wet as well. They've obviously wetted it down.
Yeah.
And this will make the course develop as we go through the day. It'll churn up, it'll get more aggressive as we go through.
I love seeing them in the cars. Just a few deep breaths. Look, Johan,
yeah,
very
look
rare to see Johan with any kind of emotion. She's taking a few deep breaths. You keep tightening the belts. You wonder how many times you can tighten the belts. Your Ekstrom's done it a few already. It gets to the point where you can't take that deep breath. So it really is go time here in Chile.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Antofagasta Minerals Copper X Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 1 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Q1 then, let's go. Jenny Gow, welcome back. Oh, look, visor down, so Heather's hiding her emotions in the command centre. I still love the command centre as somewhere where these rivals are so close together, looking at each other right across the room. Look, RXR, just a little sideways glance across to Acciona Science.
Yeah, it's, oh my goodness, the tension in there. And I've been in there, right? It is so hot. I mean,
yes.
Like the temperature outside, then you're in your race suit, you've got the helmet on. Oof, and yeah, this is our starting grid. So, in lane 1, we have got Acciona Science on the right-hand side of your screen. Then it is JBXE. Then in the middle, it's Rosberg X Racing. Then you have got Veloce in lane 4. And then on the inside line, it's Tanner Faust for McLaren. And we're about to get underway with our first race of the weekend.
I'm fascinated to see how this starting grid will play out. RXR, by looking at it, you think, maybe they're in the plum seat, but actually it could go any way. You don't know what the advantages are at this point.
No, traction can vary across the grid. Obviously, Acciona Science indicated they did not want to be on the outside of the grid, so that means they picked last for this one. 30 seconds to go to the start. Now's the time where the pressure really starts to build up. They know they need a good result from here, Acciona Science. They don't want to be on the outside of the grid in Q2. They feel the draw has compromised them from a championship point of view. So 15 seconds to go. Kristoffersson up for his second title. Ekstrom and Sands up for their first. Arlen Kotlinski as well. But don't forget, 5 cars in this fight. What's going to happen on the run to turn 1? Q1 race 1, here we go. They'll be looking for the lights to change at the side of the grid. And then let's see who's that hyperdrive off the line. They'll wait for the traction. So McLaren go first, JBXE, RXR. Veloce, interestingly, haven't used it. Now they have. So I think everybody's using it on the run to the first corner. RXR looking nice out front, and on the inside of them is Veloce Racing's Kevin Hansen going to get there first. Kristoffersson coming around the outside. Hansen gets a bit too sideways. Kristoffersson inside now. Contact between them. Roll in the background straight away. Oh, it looked like they'd gone over. Up on 2 wheels. Somebody got away with murder there. Tanner bounced up the inside now. Pushed it into the door of Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson runs wide. Kevin Hansen out front for Veloce. Faust still trying to come through, but it is Kevin Hansen. RXR get up into P2. A lot of pressure though coming behind from McLaren.
And you can just see the McLaren's nosing into RXR, and Sainz has gone around the outside. They've totally got themselves into a fight.
Tyre off the back of the RXR machine, so Tanner Faust got into the back of RXR. That is a disaster for Kristoffersson. Got turned around, then got clattered on the inside front left by the Acciona Science machine as well. So Ekstrom there, not a lot he could do as the RXR machine got turned around in front of him, but that is not the start that RXR wanted, and actually Acciona Science from P5 are up into P2. RXR are pretty much out of this.
There's more bodywork flying off the Acciona Science team. It looked like Veloce, the whole of their back end came off, but that's just bodywork. You can see JBXE going around Science. They have a problem.
They do. Well spotted, Jenny. So Acciona Science going slowly as well. So our 2 championship contenders having an absolute shocker at the start of the day. Big jump in the background for Tanner Faust. Too much contact on the run through those first few corners. They'll have to tidy it up a bit.
Yeah, they're risking it so much, and you can see one of the cars has stopped. Acciona Science is stopping as well. This is not what they needed. They needed to keep it clean. You heard from Lyle Science at the beginning saying, we need to keep it clean, and that's not what they've done.
Faust up the inside now, so Tanner Faust making a pass here on Andreas Backrud. Backrud just backing a little bit off, left foot braking on the way into this left-hander. Tanner Faust pushing really hard here. Interesting at the start, there was so much going on. The Acciona Science machine has stopped. The championship leaders have pulled over in the first race of the day. This is a disastrous start for them. RXR have passed them. They've got a puncture, remember, but they're going to continue round. They'll try and get that back to the switch zone and change it. Is he going to pull in this time? Kristoffersson's coming in a lap early, so this might well be game over for them as well, but they will have beaten Acciona Science, remember, on finishing positions, assuming Science don't move again.
Just worth pointing out, Veloce is still in with a shout. They're 3rd in the championship at the moment, and they're leading this race. They could pull themselves back into this.
Watching there backward, you could see as he ran wide, got out to the slightly greasier part of the track, he just went backwards from Tanner Faust on the exit. Squashing the brakes, look, so when you see the little red light, obviously that's the brake light, that's left foot on the brake. He used that to squash the car coming over the crest. So in tight, this is the flag last year that everybody was dropping. Looks like it might be a little way further up. So Kristoffersson's in, Nut Gun is out. They've got the jack, they're only allowed to use manual tools, they're only allowed to use tools which are available commercially. Look how long they're having to pump that jack up for, that's a nightmare.
It really is.
Now the Veloce machine, it's a yellow zone. Slow zones, so this will be for the Acciona Science machine. Is it still at a standstill? It is, it's parked there at waypoint 19.
Cars all over the place at the moment. Really problematic for these teams. You see the yellow flag zone, so this is the order at the moment. Hansen for Veloce, and then McLaren have Faust, and then it's Backrud for the JBXE team. They've gone full speed now. The yellow zone is over.
Right, here's another look at the start. So RXR, look, he goes around the outside. This is Kristoffersson goes around the outside of Kevin, gets hit then by Kevin coming back into the apex. Fair enough. Faust tries to come around the outside in the orange and black. That's the McLaren. Now, okay, Johan shuts the door on Faust. Maybe doesn't know he's there, but Faust is in the rear wheel. Fair enough again all the way through the first couple of corners. You've got to try for those positions. This is on board with Johan. Watch Kevin come across, hits the front right, loses the rear clamshell off the Veloce machine. Now that he moves across, he doesn't know Faust is inside him, and there's Faust from the rear camera. Acciona Science, meanwhile, are looking at this and going, go on then, you lot, if you want to get amongst it, go for it, we'll pick up the pieces. Literally pieces.
Yeah, it's the worst place for them to be, and you can see how much damage has been done. There is Johan Kristoffersen just trying to help in the switch zone. Veloce are out there and switching drivers already.
Just trying to listen to what they were saying there. But yeah, the switch zone taking place, so the male drivers are handing over to the female drivers. But here, RXR pitted early, and they only allowed a couple of people in that switch zone to help with the... You're not allowed all part of your team or your mechanics.
They're struggling, Jess. They can't get the car up. They couldn't get the car up high enough. They've had to move the jacklet from the left-hand side onto the rear left here to now jack the rear suspension arms to get enough ride height to put the wheel on it. So 6 nuts to go on. Johan's surely got to go back out now. He can't switch because he's only done 1 lap unless they're going to retire the car.
And there's an investigation involving cars 58 and 6. So, but this is the Veloce car we're watching right now. It's that new chrome livery. They're looking very fancy this weekend. Maybe that's giving them the extra edge. You have to say they're in 3rd place coming into this, and it looks like they might take this qualifying 1, heat 1.
So is Ekstrom going to get out of the car? Normally they ask him if they're safe to stay strapped in with the lid and all the belts on.
I mean, this has shaken up the championship. No end. They're trying to get going.
Kristoffersen back in. Remember, he's got a whole nother lap to do before he can come in for the switch, so they are going to be miles behind. But we know for them it's only really about beating Acciona Sainz. They don't want a DNF. They'd rather have a P4 than a DNF, but they also don't want to do any extra damage to the car, so they'll have done a visual check on it. But Veloce, look, out front by some 5.2 seconds. Header Hozos now will be trying to chase down Molly Taylor.
This is vital as well when it comes to extra points. If they get the Continental Traction Challenge, it doesn't matter if they're taking their time to get back out to it. RXR need as many points as they can possibly get.
Look at the elevation there. You can see as the car came off the first crest, really dipping in hard on the front right corner. Out goes Kristoffersen now. So Kristoffersen, the slow zone is still there down on that back section. Is it within? No, it's outside the Continental Traction Challenge. So you could have a crack at the Continental Traction Challenge here. I can tell you what, Veloce's tactics will have changed now, won't they? Because they'll be looking at this and going, hello. Oh, almost wheelie over the top of the crest. Fantastic. Roller coaster, look at it.
Spectacular, aren't they? Especially as Hosas comes over there. JBXC just trying to close that gap, and Molinaro doing a wonderful job of trying to get second off that McLaren.
So there is Kristoffersen. Look at him, absolutely flying. I reckon he's having a crack right now at the Traction Challenge, because why not? They've got, and the same for Arlen Kotlinski. They should send her out now and tell her it doesn't matter what you do on the rest of the lap, send it big time in the Traction Challenge, see if you can get the points.
That's a slow zone, which they have to observe. But as you said, it's not in the Traction Challenge area. That's when they go back to full speed. And you don't think there's anything wrong with that RXR car now they've fitted that punctured tyre?
With the amount of contact they had off the start, I'm surprised there isn't more wrong with it. We may find out afterwards. We'll get in touch, or we'll get Laura to go and see them and find out how much damage he's done. There they are in the slow zone. It's just in the slow zone. It's just in the slow zone. Oh, is that
but it looks beleaguered, doesn't it? Really beleaguered.
No, it is the slow zone. So, and he's got to come in, of course, now to change over to Arlen Kotlinski. I'll be interested to watch Arlen Kotlinski's run through there. And we might have time to, because I think everybody else will be finished by the time Arlen Kotlinski's heading out for the Traction Challenge.
I mean, there are a lot of cars out there who have got cosmetic damage, in fairness. Right.
10-second penalty for the McLaren. So it's a 10-second penalty for car number 58 for causing a collision. So that, I'm afraid, is Tanner Faust and Johan Kristoffersen on lap 1. So they're going to drop back behind JBXC if they can stay in touch. So JBXC is 7.7 back. So this isn't just a race on track now, it's a race on the timing screens. They need to get within 7.7, and Hozos needs to gap them by another few seconds. At the minute, look, it's come down to 5.6. So Molinaro's had the call, get on it, chase them down.
And just to remind everyone, this is qualifying 1, heat 1. So it's going to be, they're going to have another qualifying round, and it's the combination of points between the two.
Let's listen in here. I'll be Swedish.
Not helpful.
No, not from Brits. Sorry, apologies for British people's terrible lack of foreign languages. In the background, huge jump there by Header Hozos. Big opportunity for Header, Jenny, to drive for a squad like McLaren. We all know the kudos of that name as a team across the world of motorsport. And for Hozos to stand in for Gilmore, it's a great opportunity for the youngster.
It certainly is, but look at this gap between them and JBXE. This is going to be close. Obviously, that 10-second time penalty added to the end is going to make it, I mean, they're going to drop down to 3rd place unless something funky happens after turn 19. You never know.
Just, there's not many waypoints left as they come down now. So, okay, Veloce out front with their special livery coming down towards the finish line. Molly Taylor is at the wheel. Kevin Hansen took the start and managed to get away without too much contact. Taylor takes Q1, race 1. In the background coming through in P2. What's the gap going to be? Hozos jumps over the finish line. We need to know what the finishing gap is between them, and it's not 10 seconds. So it's 8.84 is the gap between them. And when that penalty is applied, McLaren will drop back into P3. Meanwhile, Kristoffersen's teammate, Arlen Kotlinski, is out there, and I reckon they're looking... Yeah, here we go.
Hooning it. She's absolutely hooning it. They want this extra point for the Continental Traction Challenge. There's 2 points up for grabs today, another 2 tomorrow, and this has been fundamental to this championship this year. So many of the times have swung because of that point. And with Sainz out, they can go for it. No other traffic out there. They've got this to themselves.
You've got to have a go. You've got to have a go. Look at Acciona Sainz. They've won it 3 out of 8 times this year. There is the end of the sector, but remember, she's got another lap. And interestingly, she's not used the hyperdrive, and that is because this lap is a recce lap. So do a recce on this lap, save it for the second lap, and then go for it on the next one. So, yeah, 3 out of 8 times for Acciona Sainz. That's 6 points, Jenny. That's the championship lead, effectively, was down to this. They're not going to get the point, obviously, for the race win, but neither has Acciona Sainz. Veloce have got that, so they've closed down the gap by 1 point.
Who would have thought this championship could turn around like this in the very first qualifier? I mean, you wouldn't dream of it to happen, and it's happened.
Jess, remember last time out in Sardinia, and I said to you, you know what, Q1 wasn't that exciting, was it? It all kicked off in Q2. I even said to Laya Sands, it's probably just everyone needs a sensible race here, didn't it? And that's just been completely ripped up, thrown out the window.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the commentators' curse. We talked about everyone getting around safely, and like the 2 leaders straight out the blocks. We've got drama going on. I mean, Extreme E is always filled with drama, and now look at them, the 2 leaders going side by side very slowly. It's quite a sad sight, though. None of us wanted to see this, but what we do want to see is Arlen Kotlinski absolutely rag it and see if she can get that Continental Traction Challenge time.
We do. This, of course, is also, remember, about who qualifies for the final. So we've got the grand final and the redemption race. That is the biggest possible differentiator in terms of points. At the minute, RXR are going to get a P4. So remember, they get qualifying points where they finish in their 2 sessions. 10, 8, 6, 4 and 2 is what you get. So at this point, it'll be 2 to Ekstrom and Sands, 4 to Kristoffersen and Arlen Kotlinski. The cut-off at most of these events this year has been 12 to 14 points. So you need to win the next race. Both RXR and Acciona Sainz are going to need to win the next race to put them in the best possible place. And then remember, the tiebreaker is the Continental Traction Challenge.
So Arlen Kotlinski goes into the Continental Traction Challenge area. I watched her yesterday in free practice. She was ragged. In fact, she did a whole 360. It was a beautiful save, but she was not quite at one with the car. Is she going to be able to go faster? Is she going to bring this home for the team?
She's carried a huge amount of speed into the Traction Challenge section now, so she comes up over the crest. Watch for how she pitches the car into the right-hander now. At the minute, Kevin Hansen has this sector. He has 3 of the 4 sectors on our timing screen. Over the crest and down on the brakes now. Flick the car into the left-hander. Don't clip the flag. Maybe clip the puddle. Understeer in the middle of the corner. She needed to be tighter in there. Maybe the puddle would have hooked her in towards the apex. Maybe losing time on the exit. Up and over the crest now. Watch for the jump at the top of the hill. Is there any other damage on that car? She comes over the crest now and should be looking for those banners, and we're going to look at the timing screen, see whether or not she's nicked it. And she's into the slow zone, so she's through, and the timing screen hasn't updated. Kevin Hansen is quickest in there at the moment, but remember, it is the combination of the 2 drivers within the team. So we might be able to get a graphic up, but it may be in the next session that we'll be able to do that and give you an overall on the Traction Challenge. Have RXR done enough to be at the top of that list? Kevin Hansen has the fastest sector time. Molly Taylor's super quick as well, so it might well be Veloce that are at the top of that list. But RXR come round to take the finish. They've done what Jenny, this is one of those championship moments. You know, you're having a bad day, minimise the losses.
Oh, we've all had those, haven't we?
Yes.
It's not the action, it's the recovery.
Yeah. So that's it. Checkered flag for RXR. Not the start they wanted, but a better start for them than it is for Acciona Sainz. Well, talking about Acciona Sainz, Laura Winter has got down with the team boss Carlos, and I don't think he's going to be over the moon with a very tricky start to their weekend.
Well, a few unhappy faces in here, and understandably so. Carlos Sainz joins me. Talk me through what's happened. You've spoken to the drivers. What are you seeing?
Well, at the moment, the only thing we know is that the car just stopped due to something electrical or a cable or whatever. Obviously, we don't know yet. Yeah, and it's not the best way to start the weekend. Also coming from another electrical problem in last race in Cerdeña. So yeah, we just need to keep pushing, but not really happy at the moment.
No, absolutely not. We can tell how frustrating this is. And as you say, you come in as championship leaders. This is not the start you want. But we know in Extreme E things can change very quickly, can't they?
Yeah, for sure. We will keep pushing. We will see what's happening in the second heat. And from there, yeah, trying to do the best we can. It's the only thing we can do.
And I suppose your championship rivals, Rosberg X Racing, similarly had issues out there as well, and not finishing too high up the order. And I suppose no one wants to see a bad result for another team, but at least you know that you're staying in contention on that side of things.
Yeah, the problem is when you finish last in basically one of these heats, it's becoming really difficult to go into the final, no? And of course that is the most important thing to do in the first race. But again, this is like it is. We will try to stay focused and keep pushing.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Carlos. Sorry to see. Best of luck.
So Carlos actually pretty calm about it, disappointed. I mean, at this point, it's not game over, is it? If it was game over, I think it would be livid. But at the minute, it's disappointed. Nothing worse than when somebody's disappointed in you. If your parents say that. So yeah, he's disappointed, and he'll be hoping for better during the rest of the day.
And we're going to take a look at the results of Qualification 1, Heat 1, kicking things off for this championship weekend. Fifth in DNF was Acciona Sainz. Fourth is RXR. Third, McLaren, because they got that 10-second penalty, unfortunately. And taking second was JVXE. And in first, a wonderful start to the weekend for Veloce Racing, for Hansen and Taylor. They'll be very pleased with that indeed. Well, we can't complain.
Done, yeah, tidily done. So Veloce, who are a little way off those front two. There's only a gap of 3 points between the front two, but it's another 16 or so back to Veloce. That is the perfect start to the weekend. If they can keep nailing it on like that and hope that there's still drama for RXR and Acciona Sainz, can they get themselves properly into the title fight tomorrow? Complicated start to the weekend for our two title rivals, but a long way to go yet. Right, let's pick the bones of this then. RXR, look, Jenny, at this point, look like they've got all the space in the world, but next to them, equal to them in terms of distance to turn one, Veloce, Kevin Hansen.
Yeah, it just gobbled up, and when they come into this turn, you can see they're all fighting for the same part of the track.
Look at this contact here. So this is where Kevin now runs wide, look, into the RXR's front right.
Who needs that anyway?
Well, true, yeah. I mean, but yeah, exactly. We'll lose that back part. That's where I thought somebody had rolled, and it was actually the clamshell coming off the back of the Veloce machine.
So this is where it lines up for McLaren to go into the side of RXR, and this is what they received the 10-second penalty for. It's coming. I've gone too early.
No, you're right,
Wait for it, though, because they're argy-bargy out on track. They can't find their way through, and this is when they actually collide, and there's nowhere for them to go.
No, so now watch in the background, Acciona Sainz then get caught in this. We'll see it. Well, not here it is. So look, RXR, at this point, you see what's probably happened is Faust's front right has climbed the rear left, which has chewed up the tyre on the RXR machine. The front right wheel arch is missing off the McLaren. And straight away, then, you're into a mess. Now, Faust was absolutely flying. He gets past backward here in the JVXE machine, just gets better traction off the jump. It's drier on the left-hand side. But the steward said, yeah, no.
Yeah. I mean, it was the slowest D-bone I've ever seen. It was just like, yeah. I'm going to go here, I can't go here. There is the RXR machine, stricken. They're trying desperately to change that tyre, and they did it, but they had to use everything.
Yeah, do you see what they did? So they jacked the car up. Johan then put the wheel under the car. They then moved the jack to the back of the car to jack it up on the suspension arm to get the wheel on. So
clever.
I think it's very resourceful from two. I mean, you'd expect it, wouldn't you, from that team and from Johan.
So Acciona Science were involved in that collision with McLaren and RXR a little bit, just a little bit, and I just wonder if any of that impact had an effect on their car. As you saw, they stopped, they pulled up on the side, created that slow zone, which everyone had to trundle through, and there it was, Veloce coming through the finish.
Yeah.
And what a finish it was. It was spectacular. This is where you had that heat so close last time.
Yeah.
It's great to watch. But this one, they went through bit by bit. And this is RXR managing to salvage something, hopefully, from their session.
Yeah, we've not seen a combination of the times. Remember, as we said, it's both drivers, and it was obvious, wasn't it, once they went back out wide. Olin Kolinski ran wide at the bottom of that hill. It's so difficult to know. When there's a puddle on the inside like that, you can hook it and sometimes get sucked into the apex, or you can hit it and it will run the car wide. And what's happened is, of course, the puddle has been spread across the bottom of that dip, and she ran a little bit wide in there. So this was more angles at the carnage at the start there. So yeah, tricky start for our two main championship contenders.
The Extreme E Science Committee, made up of experts in environmental sciences, have been a key part of the championship. They provide leadership across Extreme E environmental initiatives and legacy programs. And as we reach the end of the season, the Professor Lucy Woodall and Professor Richard Washington caught up at the wonderful Oxford University to reflect on the championships to date and what's been going on and how they have been dealing with climate change and the amazing things they've been up to.
Well, thanks for this invitation to amazing room here in Oxford. I'm really interested in understanding your thoughts about Extreme E and this idea of electric cars racing in really remote places. Like, how did that come together in your thoughts as a climate scientist?
It's not an immediately obvious connection, is it? I do remember thinking, these guys want to race electric cars unproven in remote, extreme places, dusty, cold, wet. I hope they've got a good set of engineers and an even better set of mechanics. But here we are, season 3, one race to go, and those machines are really proven. They're extraordinary pieces of kit, and they've evolved so quickly as well. You know, if you think of the internal combustion engine, it's 140 and 150 years in the making and has had endless tweaks. And here we have a racing series done on the back of this new tech, this new way of powering machines, which is far cleaner. We are removing that heavy impact through CO2 on the atmosphere. But you need a lot of batteries. So next step along the line is to bring a power station on board the car in the form of hydrogen cells. And the waste product, instead of being carbon dioxide, is water. So you take one of those little goodies and you sit that in the back of the car, but you've got to make sure that the hydrogen that we're using doesn't come from coal. Otherwise, we're just back to square one with the fossil fuels. If we can get that stage right, where we produce clean hydrogen, delivering electricity, because it's basically chemical energy to electrical energy, we're looking at a technology which is going to take us forward.
I think there's also a point around innovations of the locations themselves, being able to think about having the locations at the forefront of the race, going to places where we can see climate change happening today. So I think as a biologist, the philosophy of race without trace is really important, because this allows for new programs to come in, thinking specifically around the racetrack itself. I think is two things. Obviously, there is a social and environmental impact assessment taken, and this is acted on as well. I recall when we were up in Scotland, there was a falcon's nest up on one of the cliffs of that open cast coal mine. During that race, the media teams actually couldn't use drones because of the potential impact. And of course, it's a process, and as we think of other things that we can do, then we can bring those in and ensure that over time this is getting even better and that we have much more positive impacts.
Let's hope there's a domino effect following on from this. And the more that we can do to showcase that to the corners of the world, the more proud Extreme E can be of the messaging that we do.
Incredible work there from the Science Committee. Great to hear a bit more about it. Now, that's the Continental Traction Challenge you're looking at there. Tactics play a big part here because those extra points can be grabbed. Acciona Science have won 3 out of the 8 so far. Putting it simply, they wouldn't be in the lead without them. So as a tiebreaker, watch out for who goes quickest. They may be the lucky team that makes it through to the grand final.
The Continental Traction Challenge is a designated section of the course where the teams can earn critical championship points by setting the fastest time through this sector in each round of the series. True to Extreme E's gender equal split in the driver lineups, the winner of the Continental Traction Challenge is the team with the fastest combined time of both male and female drivers.
X44 Vida Carbon Racing have nicked the Continental Traction Challenge.
Well done, Chris. Great race. That was amazing.
Drivers can post a time in any competitive session of the X-Prix, and the winning team will be awarded 2 championship points. With fierce competition in Extreme E's Paddock for Season 3 and a total of 20 points up for grabs across the 10 races, the Continental Traction Challenge is critical to any team's title aspirations.
X44, Vida Carbon Racing. They have the Continental Traction Challenge. That could prove crucial for this championship.
Welcome back down to the pit lane here in the Antofagasta Minerals Copper X-Prix, the Atacama Desert, our stage. Cristina Gutierrez alongside me of X44. You are still in with a chance of this title, albeit a slightly smaller one than certainly we saw last year. What are you thinking coming into this weekend, and how much are you liking this course?
Yeah, it's an incredible weekend because 5 teams can win. It's going to be a big fight, but we are with a lot of energy, a lot of things to do now, and we are starting now, so we are doing as much as possible we can to try to win.
And look, we know in Extreme E, absolutely anything can happen. Thanks very much, Cristina. Best of luck to you guys this morning. That's our second race coming up very soon indeed. We're going to head down now to Chip Ganassi. And of course, our thoughts, all the thoughts in this paddock are with this team on what is going to be a tricky weekend for them. It's a heavy weekend. RJ Anderson joins me now. Obviously, we have your thoughts in mind here after the passing of Carl Leduc. How heavy is this weekend for the team? How are you guys feeling?
You know, I think there's only one thing we can do here and go out there and send it 99 style, just the way that Kyle would. Very, very passionate, very aggressive, fast driver on the track. So I think you just got to keep the 99 in our hearts on this one and go out there and drive just the way he would want us to. So I think he's watching over us in heaven up there, and he's got our back. So hopefully he can help pull us this first win of the season here.
I love that mentality so much. And the whole paddock will have a sticker as well with number 99 on it, thinking of Carl this weekend. Course is good. You're looking fast out there. What is the mindset to try and get this win? Because you're in with a hunt for the title.
Yeah, we're not too far out of this title hunt, so we still have a chance at it. And like I said, we've been very consistent all year, but we got to just start, I think, to be able to put ourselves on the top, we got to chase that win here, the first win here in Season 3. So that's the goal for the team. We're going to take nothing less. It's our first time at this track, so we got to learn fast, and there's a ton of talent here, obviously, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Best of luck to you, RJ, and to Chip Ganassi this weekend. Here we go then, our second race of the morning coming up.
There's that all-important traction challenge. Look at it's my favourite 3D map. I think it's the best one we've done. It properly looks.
How quite geeky you sound when you say that.
I know. I just love it too much. There's the command centre that we're flying down to. Look, we're flying down there because we're going to go and catch up with another one of our drivers. So into the Vodafone command centre. And we can have a chat with Leah Block. Leah, whereabouts are you? There we are. Leah, good to see you. A long journey for you down there. You've been so busy recently. Amazing news for you with the F1 Academy. Your head must be full of so much, but we're going racing on the dirt here this weekend. How's it going?
Yeah, good. I'm really excited for this weekend. It's going to be a really cool track and lots of carnage already, as we've seen in the first heat.
Now, what about that single-seater testing last week? How did it go for you, and how are you switching your mind back into off-road mode now?
Yeah, no, good. testing is amazing. Very different mindsets going into this, so ready to get back on the dirt, and I think all should be good.
Okay, cool. And what are you looking for from Timo? Do you want to come in with the lead? Are you looking to hunt some people down? How's the track for you?
Honestly, just looking for a good start from Timo, and then hopefully once the car gets to me, just do what I can, hunt some people down, or if we're in first, just keep it there.
Leah, hi, it's Jenny here. How are you finding Extreme E? It's different.
Yeah, very different from anything else I've done, but it's very exciting, and I'm really happy to be here.
I mean, it's so different from the F1 Academy. Do you enjoy the contact that you can get?
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely see some rubbing tires here and get in a little bit dirty, but single-seater is not like that, so I love to have some fun here.
Leah, thanks so much. Wishing you the best of luck. Get out there.
Thank you.
So that's Leah Block, Timo Scheider's teammate at Cox Motorsport. Sitting in the middle of the grid. That didn't work out so well for RXR last time, but we'll see a whole nother start to play for here. Right, let's take a look at our championship contenders in this one. So in P5, Gutierrez and McConnell for X44 Vita Carbon Racing. They need to win this race overall today to stay in the championship fight. And in P4 here, they've got to stay within the maximum score of the championship leaders heading into round 10. So they must be within those 29 points that are up for grabs each day. That's number 99, Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing. And all our thoughts, of course, with the Leduc family.
Right, well, let's take a look at the grid then. It's all male drivers, and you have got on the right-hand side there, you've got X44 Vita Carbon Racing. Then in lane 2 is Apt Cupra. In the middle, Cox Motorsport. And then in lane 4, Andretti Autokilit. And then on the side, we have got GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing.
So Adrian Tombe making his debut here for Apt Cupra, circuit racing driver with a lot of experience on tarmac, not so much on the loose. What can he do here? McConnell on the outside. You can see tons of wheel spin for everyone as they head off the dust onto the damp down section. Great start by Timo Scheider in the middle of the pack. Scheider here looks like he might be able to turn in across than Timmy Hansen alongside RJ Anderson in the background. Tombe's made a good start too. Tombe slightly earlier on the brakes. McConnell round the outside from P4 up into P2, going to try and flip the car back the other way. Timmy Hansen's up his inside now. Hansen passes McConnell, contact between them. The X44 into the Andretti Autokilit. That gives the 99 Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing the chance to go round the outside. Anderson that gets into the loose, maybe losing a little bit of time. Tombe's off the back of the pack. Anderson up the inside of McConnell, trying on Hansen as well. Timmy Hansen holds on to P2. Timo Scheider, they're out front. McConnell late on the brakes. A diving pass on RJ Anderson as they drop down onto the straight. Still there side by side, the X44 and the Hummer coming down over the dip, crest dip, up onto the top of the hill. Finally went to a line about 5-6 turns in, Jenny. That was a much cleaner start, but loads of action still.
So much action, and you can still see they're all challenging each other. They want to be up there in the front, and Scheider at the moment has got it, but there's contact again, Andrew.
Water up over the screen now. Saw tons of problems this last time. That's McConnell, gets the wipers on, comes over the crest, somehow manages to stay on line. Tombe with a big jump in the background. That's something Tombe won't have been used to until this weekend.
No, very much single-seater before.
Hansen having a look up the inside of Scheider on the run down through this section. This was the slow zone in the last one. Hansen's almost up the inside of Timo. Timo Scheider knocked off his bike last week, pedal bike in Miami. He's bruised and battered all over, but has been super quick here yesterday in free practice as well. McConnell now is closing down on Timmy Hansen in front. 3 cars. What's the gap between them? 7/10 of a second across the top 3. 1.2 across the top 4 as we head on to lap 2. This could not be closer.
This is amazing racing from our second qualifying heat. You can just see Cox Motorsport out in front, but they're all pushing for it. And look, a move out there outside there.
Yeah, RJ Anderson poking out, making McConnell drive on the mirrors. Just had a look to the inside, not quite enough space there to do it. He's closed the gap down. Look at the difference in style. McConnell with a bit more rotation on the way into the corner there. Slightly straighter entry for the number 99.
I mean, visibility is really tough out there for all of the drivers. They're suffering so much. They're having to put their wipers on the driest place on earth.
Yeah, well, think about the different places. Obviously, they wet the track to help the dust so the drivers can see where they're going. That's using water from the mine, by the way, so it's all environmentally okay. On a roll! That's off that crest. The number 99's gone over the Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing. Front corner is broken on it. Dipped off the top, just dug in and rolled over in the background. as we were saying about how tricky the track conditions are, there are places that are dusty, places that are wet. Visibility, on one minute you've got mud on your screen, the next minute you've got dust in your eyes. It's incredibly tricky.
These are really tricky conditions, especially for someone like Tombe, who hasn't driven the App Coupe before, so he's got all the challenges.
Doing really well, Jenny, 4.7, so in touch. Really important for Tombe to try and stay with the drivers in front who've got so much more experience of off-road, but also of the Odyssey 21, and try to get those lap times in. He's right there, just a few seconds off the back of the pack.
I tell you what, they're going to need buckets of water for this. I've seen this before, and Fraser McConnell is desperate to get inside. You can see there, good news for RJ Anderson, who's okay. He's out the car, even though the car not looking so good.
So the this is going to have to be a proper slow zone because it's blind over that crest, remember. So they'll slow zone them on that section of the track, but into the switch zone now. Timo all locked up. Loads of people yesterday speeding in switch zones and speeding in yellow zones. You can see the mine at work in the background. Here we go. This is a replay of the action over the top. So he flicks it in. Does he catch? This is the first crest. It's the drop down on the second one. So he's in slightly tighter than normal. Does he pinch it over the top? Yes, hits the bank on the inside. So he hits the bank on the inside. I thought it had dug in. We saw it in the background. And actually, it's rolled over on the inside of that crest. Here it is from another angle. Watch the car in fourth place now. Anderson comes in. He'll hit the bank on the inside. I tell you what, that's a big impact on the left side of the car. What we have to hope, of course, obviously Anderson's okay, that's our main concern. We have to hope the cage isn't damaged. I think it will be okay because it's more on the side than the roof, Jenny, but we've seen it before, haven't we?
You can just hear in the background.
Munnings, it sounded like, didn't it? And Hansen talking.
Are they in the switch? Yes, they are in the switch zone. That's why you've got the buckets of water going on so that they're trying to get visibility for the second laps.
Yeah, absolutely. The women are getting into the cars now for 2 laps themselves, and it's so close between these cars. What a heat this is turning out to be. Oh, X44 just coming up there, but Cox Motorsport are out in front, so they maintain that position. Oh, and here we go, Andretti just sliding in there.
They came in 2 seconds apart. 2.051 was the gap between P1 and P3. They've all released at bang on the right time, and that's the gap as they head out. We spoke to Leah Block just before this race. She said, you know what, it'd be great if we come in a good position, I'll try and hold on to it. So she's now got Katie Munnings behind her, and of course Cristina Gutierrez in the X44.
And she's got a clear windscreen at the moment. Everyone else is going to struggle with that, but if she can stay out front, she will keep it clear. But Katie Munnings is desperately trying to get past her, and she will try everything she can. She's just losing a bit of control at the moment.
Yeah, so Leah out front. Let's keep an eye on the gap. It was 1 to Leah, between Leah and Katie, and then it was a further 1 back to Gutierrez. Gutierrez has dropped an extra second, so they're 2 seconds back. Don't read too much into that just yet. Leah Block's been competing in the States in Nitro Rallycross in the support categories. Here's that slow zone. So she's raced side by side. She's raced the NRX Next machines, 4-wheel drive machines on dirt. She's familiar with it, but of course Munnings has had a lot more time in the Odyssey 21. She's a veteran of this series. Can we call her that? I think we can. Katie won't mind, will she? Every event since the start. And she goes past, so Leah Block's not released the car in time, so Leah stayed on the button on the dash for too long. She got through the switch, the safe zone, sorry, and both Andretti, El Tequila and X44 have passed them on the exit. That's a shame.
Katie Munnings was right by her, and she obviously just didn't release the limiter, which is just a button. She needs to flip it, and she can go fast again. But maybe she didn't realise exactly where the slow zone ended.
Yeah.
But either way, it's given the leader here to Andretti, and Katie Munnings is out in charge in the front. But look at Cristina Gutierrez. She's just trying to rein her in and bring it back.
Gutierrez is such a weapon, isn't she? Champion last year with Sebastian Loeb at X44. Big jump. Gutierrez carries speed up the inside of Munnings. Oh, nearly a pass, but not quite. Munnings runs wide. So a big dip gap on the end there, and just bucked the car up, ran it a little bit wide. Still holding the position at the moment. And in fact, I think Munnings has maybe edged out a little bit more of a gap. So great drive from Katie. She carries the pace over the line.
Yeah, there's not much in it. And you can see Gutierrez is desperate to get back here and get the lead. She's going around the outside again. Can she make it stick? She has made it stick. She's through, but can she keep it? It looks like they're really close when they're coming into that corner.
She ran a bit wide, didn't she, on the exit, got up the inside. That was a beautiful pass, Jenny. Absolutely fantastic pass by Gutierrez. Leah Block, where's Block? So Clara Anderson has passed Leah Block as well, so Block's dropped down to P4, but they're all within 5 seconds at this point, so still all to play for. Remember the slow zone coming up after this second crest. Munnings rides the bank on the inside.
I mean, she's brave doing that.
Yeah, I know.
Seeing as what happened to the GMC
Anderson.
Hummer. I mean,
Here's the slow zone, so watch now, they get on the brakes, down to basically pit lane speed limit, hold the button on the dash. Now, in the centre of the dashboard, their screen lights up yellow to tell them, look at the number 99, it looks a bit forlorn there, doesn't it? Upside
really
down,
does.
could not be closer.
Am I right in saying that's in the Continental Traction Challenge? In the
yes,
zone,
you
so
are.
they can't set Continental Traction
I think you
Challenge
are, Jenny.
time.
No, I think it's just before, but it would affect their entry speed into it, so yeah, you wouldn't get a competitive time in there. Look at this wonderful onboard here. This is what we mean when we talk about left foot braking. So right foot on the gas, left foot on the brake. Look at the brake as well. There's a folded piece of metal up the side. That's to stop your foot from sliding off the side of the pedal because the sheer amount of impacts in the car. Look, heels just in touch with the floor. You get flung around so much in off-road. It's such a different driving style. Much more left foot braking during a corner than you get with circuit racing.
Look at this then. Gutierrez leading the way, then Mannings, Anderson and Block. Those are the 4 drivers taking it at the moment.
So coming down then towards the finish line around the left-hander, X44, brilliant drive by Gutierrez, managing to get Munnings on the last lap. Munnings going to get P2. Clara Anderson is in full send mode. Leah Block right there as well. Feel for Block, she was unlucky with the exit of the slow zone, but over the line, X44, Gutierrez takes it. They need to win, remember. Who's gone straight on in the background? Clara Anderson has gone straight on. Big mistake by Anderson. Leah Block nicks P3 back right at the end of the race for Cox Motorsport. Anderson returns to the track and drops over the crest. That's a disaster for them. After they were looking on for a decent result, they dropped down to P4. Clara will be annoyed with that. Gritted teeth. Ah, she knows. She knows.
Tell you what, X44 knew what they had to do.
Yeah,
they have to have
gotta
the
win.
perfect weekend while others fall around them. And what have they done?
What's
They've
happened?
gone out there and had the perfect start to the weekend. Championship-wise, this couldn't be better.
Yeah, shocker for GMC. Everybody else, Jenny, yeah, the 2 teams that were tailing, look in the background, just straight on. Really hard to see what happened there. Wonder if we can see that one more time. But she comes back onto the track, look, over the crest here, ploughs through the dirt at the side of the road.
She was lucky to get that finish in the end. This is on board. Are we looking
bounce.
back at her? Oh, yeah,
Bad
she's
bounce.
just pitched off to the right.
Got the opposite lock on as she's come over the crest there, and when the car's come back down, it's flung her off to the right-hand side. Look at the speed, Jenny. That was a long way off track, wasn't it?
Really was.
So of our 5 championship contenders, disaster for GMC, Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing, the number 99, real shame there. Hope to see them back out. Not ideal start for RXR and Acciona Sainz, but the other 2 going to close that gap down. Let's head down to Laura Winter. She's with Amanda Sorensen.
Well, all action this morning so far in just 2 races. We've got much more to come. Chip Ganassi, Amanda Sorensen alongside me. So sorry to see RJ roll. Firstly, we saw him out the car and he's okay, the most important thing. How did you see that roll? And was that something you guys had sort of discussed before, that the risk versus reward on a course like this?
Honestly, where he rolled at was kind of an interesting spot. He just clipped the berm, but he actually went all the way down the hill, then landed on the roof. So hoping he's okay. It was obviously unpredictable, and I know he was driving the dust, battling. There was definitely a lot of position changing going on, so could have just been the heat of the moment.
We've seen plenty of issues so far for Acciona Sainz, who are our leaders, and Rosberg X Racing as well in P2 in the championship standings. So I guess you're in very good company out there. What does this mean for you guys in the championship standings, and indeed for Q2 now?
We're going to have to push hard into Q2. The probabilities will have to play out on our side, but we're coming in strong.
And you haven't had a lap out there yet. I bet you're itching to get out there and do it.
Definitely anxious.
Okay, all right. Thanks very much, Amanda. We hope RJ's okay. Send our best wishes. Thank you. Good luck.
Damage to the front corner on the car. The big question is there any damage to the cage, as we know? So let's see.
Really tough times there for RJ Anderson and for Amanda Sorensen. Just all she can do is watch on and go hard next time. She is yet to go out in that car. That's a tough break. But these are the qualifying Heat 1 results. DNF, as you can see, for Hummer EV. Then it's Apt Cupra 4th. New boy Tombe in there. Then it's Carl Cox, so unfortunate to lose the lead there. Then Andretti with Munnings and Hansen, and X44 Vida Carbon Racing with McConnell and Gutierrez lead the way, exactly what they needed to do.
It is indeed, isn't it? What a session, eh? That's not how we... I mean, Is it how we expect Extreme E to play? It kind of is, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's kind of what we think. We're going to catch up with Cristina Gutierrez. That is the perfect start to their weekend, and not many people can say that after this session.
Oh, the highs and lows of motorsport right here in the Extreme E paddock. Cristina Gutierrez alongside me. Oh, just a sigh of relief there. We said before you needed results to go your way. You needed a win to be in the mix for the title tomorrow. You've got one win so far in your first race. Talk me through it.
Yeah, it was a difficult race because we couldn't see anything in the exit of the pit, but I tried to follow the girls and I tried to take the advantage in every corner, and finally we couldn't do it. And it's a good position for a start. We'll see in the quali too, because in Extreme E you never know. This is a win, but after we need to be constant and continue like this.
It was a great battle with Katie Munnings as well. Yesterday they were saying they're feeling very fast around here, and it proved to be. Just how intense was it?
Yeah, it was very intense because I know that Katie is fast, and I know that Katie closed all the doors, and I tried to follow her. I tried to think in a possible overtakings, and finally we did it, and I'm very happy.
I know you need other things to go your way to be in with a hunt for the title for tomorrow, but at the moment they are. What's the mindset then heading into qualifying for you guys and looking ahead, of course, to the grand final?
For sure, our man is to go for everything. We are fighting until the finish line of today and tomorrow, so we will see, but we are going to fight a lot.
Oh, I've no doubt. Thanks so much. Well done. Best of luck for qualifying too.
Well, all action then from Q1 here in Chile, championship deciding weekend. It's been a wild ride so far. Okay, deep breath everyone. That's Q1 done. Race 2 was a little cleaner, certainly at the start, and then with the crash in the middle. But here is the start. It's pretty tidy, I think, compared to the first race where there was a lot of contact through the first few corners. There was a lot going on, but everybody just gave each other just enough space.
Just enough space, which is perfect.
Yeah.
And you can see how the mud is flying, and that's affecting everybody out there.
Look at the difference in lines. You look on the inside, it's still very damp. You look on the outside, it's still dusty. This was the first lap. Look, this is where RJ rolls on the next one. Look here, so dust on the inside, wet on the outside. Bottom of the hill, this is the biggie. So you're on board there with McConnell, gets the mud up over the screen. If you don't hook it in there, remember what we said about Arlen Kotlinski in the previous run? You've got to go right in the puddle, otherwise you understeer deep down. Look how deep the dirt is offline. Look how dusty it is on the inside of the line. There's a real racing line developing here. What we don't know yet, Jenny, is, as always, is it going to get quicker or slower? Will it clean up and become faster? Will it become more rutted and more holes and go a bit slower?
These are visibility problems, and this is the roll. You can just see the number 99 just gets up on the bank and is pitched right hand, and that is a heavy impact.
Yeah, that first one is, isn't it? Really digs in hard. Really digs in hard. So we've got to check the integrity of the safety cage on that car and see whether or not they can get back out. We're really hoping they can, obviously. So on boards here, looking back, this was Gutierrez going up the inside of Munnings. She said, I looked for places, but Katie had kept the door shut. I thought Katie had run wide there, but she actually carried more exit speed than Gutierrez did. But Gutierrez here, look, lines her up from a long way back. So she's carrying speed, What Gutierrez does is she comes in too fast, knows that she'll run wide on the exit. Watch the next camera shot. Look at that opposite lock, lighting the throttle up, puts the car out into the dirt cushion on the outside of the track. That is a brilliant piece of car control by Gutierrez to make that pass on Munnings.
Just wonderful to watch, and the guys who are putting the highlights together this weekend are going to have a joy and pain as well, because there's so much to cram in. I mean, the whole race was a great highlight.
In the background there, so you could see, I didn't see where Clara made the pass on Leah, and then Clara gets this bad bounce, look. So I think it must be on the next lap. Here's Leah Block coming through. Leah said, didn't she, I'll try and hold on to the lead, or I'll try and hunt them down if not. She got to do both in the end because she was in the lead, and then unfortunately the switch zone exit caught her out. That may have been communications from the team. She comes over the line. Clara Anderson in the background has to come over that jump slowly, having climbed back over the berm. She drops back in the apt Cooper machine. Anderson, we know, is a sender. We know she's quick, but watch this. Yeah. If you can lip read, luckily we don't have to apologise if it's only lip reading. Not happy.
Fill in the blanks yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's annoyed, but you know what? Oh, wow, look. R.J. Anderson climbing out the car. Most important of all, he is, of course, OK. That's what we wanted to see.
Now, the Extreme E paddock is full of environmentally focused technologies, and you can see on your screen the different icons looking at some of the different environmental initiatives. And one of them is about the ENOA hydrogen fuel system, which is used to create its own carbon-free energy on site. And then you've also got the knives and forks, and that means that everyone has to bring their own plates and cutlery to site. And of course, there's no plastic bottles or single-use plastic on site either. Now, this is also a championship which goes far beyond just racing, always striving to raise awareness of the bigger climate issues that our planet is facing. This championship shines a light on the solutions that are out there, and through the Count Us In initiative, the ways in which all of us in our daily lives can take small steps to make a difference of this absolutely wonderful planet of ours.
The Count Us In Challenge has been inviting everyone to take steps to combat climate change and improve lives, with drivers leading by example at every race. At the season launch in Neom, teams were invited to plant trees, which are essential at retaining water and promoting biodiversity in desert locations like Saudi Arabia. While a Hydro X Prix in Scotland highlighted the importance of volunteering to support communities with a visit to a local school. In Sardinia, for rounds 5 and 6, the focus shifted to using less plastic, highlighted by the paddock-wide ban on single-use plastics. While rounds 7 and 8 saw teams promote cycling on the Italian island as a way of reducing air pollution while boosting health and well-being. The season finale in Chile will focus on food and the importance of reducing waste that would otherwise go to landfill, proving that everyone can contribute to a cleaner, greener planet.
Great stuff from Count Us In. Look at that as a backdrop. It is incredible, isn't it? Really is. So, Clara Anderson, of course, ran wide in that last one. We saw right at the very last corner, the very last waypoint. She had a bad bounce, it looked like to us, but we can find out from Clara herself. She's down now with Laura Winter. So let's hear from Clara.
Oh, Clara, some frustration here. You're here with a new partner, Adrian Tambay. He put you in a good position. Just talk me through your run and what happened out there.
Yeah, it was quite a gap to the front, so I knew I had to push. Did a nice overtake, felt really fast, the car was nice, and then unfortunately hit the bad bump just before the finish line, so I had to do a little 360, which is a bit annoying, but yeah, the car is good. Let's see what happens now in Q2.
The car is back, it's in one piece. That's often the most important thing in Extreme E, isn't it? Talk to me about the relationship that you're developing with your new teammate here, Adrian, as well. Obviously, he's perhaps more of a stranger to off-road racing than some of the paddock in here. How's he settling in?
Yeah, he's settling nice. It's not easy to jump into the first Extreme E race, so we're working on some things. But now it was a hard race, but we will look at the data and hopefully we'll come back a little bit quicker in Q2.
Thank you, Clara. No doubt you'll be in the fight. Good luck. Thank you.
Absolutely gutting for Clara Anderson there, and such a great, she's such a great person in the paddock. She's so bubbly. I first met her in Chile last year around this time when she was a championship driver, but she got a chance to go in the car. Yeah, she did, and she made that brilliant pass. I think when you're the championship driver, it's a great place to be. This weekend it's Christine Jeezy and Patrick O'Donovan. You want that shot, but you don't want to see anyone else get hurt.
Right, let's have a look. We've had a look at the paddock, but let's have a look who's doing well so far this weekend after the first qualifying sessions.
Yeah, this is our Zenith Dream Team. So it's, oh, no, it's not now. It is, yes, it is, sorry, yes. So, okay, fastest female was Clara Anderson. So I still want to see the Continental Traction Challenge, see which of the championship contenders is in there. We're going to have a look at that in a minute.
Really interesting reading, though, isn't it? You look up and who's the fastest this weekend so far.
I've got a guess, Jenny, I've got a guess. So I reckon it's either Andretti or X44. Here we go. Here we go. Zenith Dream Team, Kevin Hansen and Clara Anderson. So Kevin, of course, from the Veloce squad, Clara Anderson from the Abt Cupra team. They are the Zenith Dream Team. If you put them together, that would give you the best lap time overall. Now, however, of course, they are not together. They're off in separate teams. You've got to work with who you're working with all season.
Shame.
A few driver changes, and of course, silly season will be coming up. There it is. X44 Vita Carbon Racing are at the top of the Continental Traction Challenge. So that is Fraser McConnell and Christina Gutierrez. Cox Motorsport in P2. Amazing job by Leah Block and Timo Scheider, and Andretti Altequila in P3. Remember, this order decides the cut-off point if there's a tie in terms of the qualifying points. Jenny, first session back for you. What do you think? Have you brought this with you? Because it's amazing.
It's been fast and furious, hasn't it? Exactly what my brain didn't need, but actually probably what it does need. And you can look how much work is going on behind the scenes to bring you this championship, how much the engineers and mechanics are working.
Yeah, some of them have got more work to do than others, haven't they? Thanks to Jess Rogers as well for this first session. Laura Winter down on site as well. That is how we've kicked off our championship deciding weekend. Only one session done so far. Already we've got some big stories. Will the Hummer EV Chip Ganassi racing machine be back out, or are we a championship contender down? Can RXR and Acciona Science fight back to maintain their places at the top of the table, or will the other teams close the gap? Stay with us. Later on today, you'll be able to find out.
Private drive.